Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Let's talk about the budget. The budget right now, as it stands, is up for discussion for the Board of Trustees to discuss whatever their concerns are as a whole. So obviously you don't have any discussion. So moving on.
No,
Anybody else?
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
It's discussion and approval. Last year, we went through every budget item line by line, which takes hours. We cannot pass this without it being public. It's not on the website. This is $26 million of budget, village finances, taxpayers' money that we can't just brush off like it's something easy. All we're asking is to take the time like we did last year. The first year we passed the budget, we sat down right here with the village administrator right there and went through every line with the finance director. All I'm asking is that let's do that again. We've done that for the past 8 years. When we were trustee, we would have to present the budget to the board. It wasn't on a meeting like this. It would be one meeting for the budget, and you went through every line. We're not doing that now. We're not saying we're against the budget. We're just saying be transparent with it. Just be transparent with it. And has it, like the finance director said, go through a finance committee where that be the only one. There's 4 other things on this agenda. We'll be here all night. How we used to do it, how we should do it. You go through every line item to be transparent with taxpayers' money. That's all we're asking. To do it right now, have discussion here. I have 20 questions. You think the resident want to sit here for the next 2 hours for all the questions I got? No, you have a finance committee like we did last year, like we did the year prior. Just be consistent with it. I'm asking for transparency. There's so many things on this budget that we're not okay with. We don't have questions for, but we can't tax the residents here all night with this. So the finance committee, he asked the finance director for certain things. We never got back to us. Be transparent with the money. That's all we're asking. We're not, this administration is not being transparent with the money. They're spending it recklessly. So that's up to us. So if this town is bankrupt in 6 months or 10 months, who's gonna get the blame? Us. But we can't even get questions asked because the department heads are scared to even answer our questions. We can't even talk to some of them. So can we at least be transparent and let's have a finance committee meeting like we did for the past 8 years? A finance committee meeting where we go through our budget line by line, which takes hours. And if we're not going to do that, I'm not passing this today in a vacuum. That's irresponsible on our part. That's what we're responsible for. That's what we got elected to do. So let me do my job and let's go to a finance committee meeting where it's going to take 2-3 hours to do it. And everybody here is invited to do that. But it's not going to be in this regular board meeting that passes. It's discussion and approval. We can discuss it, but we're not approving it tonight. Do it right. Do it right. There's nothing wrong with doing it right. You demanded that as a trustee to do it right. All I'm saying is do it right, the right thing. We're not against that. Just be transparent with us. If you're not going to be transparent, then what are we doing? If it's always some underhand thing, we find out things after the fact. They're approving $500,000 without board approval. Spending that's going on here is crazy. So all I'm saying is that go to a finance committee meeting like we always done. I repeat myself, for the last few years, we went through it line by line. We can't do it tonight in one line item. It's too much money. It's $26 million to go through. That's all I'm asking. That's all I got to say. We go to a finance meeting and we'll do it right and we'll pass it off. But we can't do it tonight. You won't sit here with over $26 million for 2 hours, 3 hours to go through each line item. It won't happen. That's all I'm asking.
This thing is a mess.
It really is.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what's worse.
Yeah.
Like the budget itself or the way Mayor Henyard runs this meeting.
It's just wild. I mean, this is like a master class in how to not do public finances.
Right. Like, come on. We're talking $26 million budget here.
Yeah.
Which, okay, that's a lot of money for any municipality. But
absolutely.
especially, for a village the size of Dolton.
Right.
And Trustee Ed Steaves is like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see exactly where all this money's going.
He's got a point.
He keeps using the word transparency too, which I think that really sets off Mayor Henyard.
Well, and it makes sense that he would ask for that.
Right.
Line by line review of the budget.
Exactly.
I mean, this is standard practice in a lot of local governments.
Yeah.
This is like participatory budgeting in a way. It's about accountability. It's about, making sure that the people who are paying taxes can actually see where your money is going.
Exactly.
Potentially, uncover any kind of waste or even fraud.
Well, and Steve even brings up that some of the department heads seem afraid to actually answer questions.
That's a huge red flag.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there's some kind of intimidation tactics going on.
Right. Or if there's a culture of silence within the administration.
Right.
Where people are afraid to speak up.
Exactly.
For fear of retaliation or something.
And, of course, how does Mayor Henyard respond?
Oh, she does not like this at all.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Thank you for your concern. So, as relates to us doing it the right way, I stand on transparency. I've done that for 8 years as a trustee, and now in my 1 year as mayor, I've done transparency as well. So when it comes to the budget items, you guys have time to look it over and come to a meeting and be adults about it and see the budget for what it is and ask the questions. You saying it to scare the public, I'm trying to word it the right way. You're trying to scare the public into, oh, we got one night to go over this. If you guys wanted to have a committee meeting or any other type of meeting, you could have called it. Don't get here at this actual meeting and act as though someone's trying to push something down your throat. All I'm asking, if you had 20 questions, why didn't you submit 20 questions to any other department head so they could answer the questions that you needed answered? You did not do that. But we get here and then we grandstand for the people. Everybody in the whole entire world have budgets. None of them do the things that we do here. Just because you guys did it in the past, don't make it right. Once you learn and you know to do better, you always going to do better. But right now, you want to do things the way you've done it in the past. And unfortunately, everything you've done in the past was not right, Trustee Steaves. So what I'm asking again, if it's something that you need clarity of, want us to answer, you could ask myself. And I say this all the time. And you guys do not reach out to me about any concerns that you may have. But when we get to a board meeting, this is what we do. Think about it. We ain't talking about one line item about this budget. We're going back and forth over who said what we should do. Could we have a finance meeting? I could have did that. You could have called a special meeting and actually talked about the budget if that's what y'all choose to do. But we get here and no one wants to talk about the actual business at hand, which is the budget. We're going back and forth over nothing. So if we're not going to discuss the budget, there's no need to waste any more other people's time as we talk about the things on the agenda. We might as well go ahead, pass it along, and go to the next agenda item. Does the Board of Trustees want to pass on the budget and move on to the next line item?
No, I got one more thing to say.
Go ahead. Is it about the budget?
Yes, about the budget.
Go ahead.
This administration got handed off a great financial town because the previous administration, with Trustee House, with myself, we went through the budget. We had financial audits. The reason why this town is in the financial condition it's in, because we took our time with the budget. That's all I'm asking is what we did the past 8 years obviously worked because the financial condition is much better than it was 8 years ago. And I was a part of that, and she was a part of that. I think hardly, but she was a part of it, and Trustee House was a part of it. All I'm saying is not about ramming it through. All I'm saying, we got to take our time to do it right, period. And the things that we've done 8 years ago, that's how you was able to inherit such a financially sound town. And the money that we spent on this town was because they put reserves in. You got the sewage fund that we spayed out of, that we got the sewage truck out of. We did things at Public Works. We got a front load. We spent almost $1 million because of things that the previous administration put in place. And all I'm saying, I'm trying to follow that because that actually worked. And it's in a good place now. And I want to continue that going. That's one good thing that came from the last administration, period.
Okay. So I'm going to say this. That's untrue. At the last administration, we had Matt Stacy, who did not manage that department correctly. But with my leadership, my direction on how to do the budget, along with Stacey Carrell, Public Works is back on track. Public Works is doing what they're supposed to have been doing a year ago before I became mayor. So stop with the previous administration. The previous administration made a lot of mistakes. The previous administration is what the people did not want. So what I'm asking you is to make sure that you read everything, get your questions in, so we don't have to do this dance with the public every time we have a board meeting, because nothing gets done, nothing gets accomplished. We sit here, we go back and forth and bicker over nothing. So what I'm asking is, we will go ahead, y'all have y'all meet, y'all let me know when y'all ready to actually pass a budget. You can actually call a special board meeting and have whatever you want and sit here for hours, for all I care, and go over a budget. All I'm saying is, normally a real person, what we do is we read and we go through whatever we got issues with, and then we go and we talk to the department head, get our clarity, get our understanding of what we want to do and what we want to change, and then you go and you pass a budget. Stop acting as though we're not being transparent with the people, because we have. The budget has been available for the last month, and if you haven't read it or went through it with a fine-tooth comb, then that is on you, Trustee Steaves. But now I'm asking, if nobody wants to pass it, let's move on, because most board meeting is, you talk about it, you discuss it, and then you move on. You either vote it up or down, you go on to the next agenda item. We are sitting here for 3 to 4 hours. And that's a shame. The people are tired of it. And they told you this before I became mayor. They said they do not want board meetings that last for no 4 hours. Think about it again. We're talking about nothing. So now, as a leader, I'm going to go on and move this board forward. Since it's up for discussion, do I have to get a vote to go to the next item? Or what?
No, I mean, it's up for discussion. There's no.
You need no vote? Okay.
I got a question.
Okay, before we get into the back and forth, because we're getting way off track. Hold on.
I'm not trying to go back and forth.
Oh, 1 second. I want to get his invoices in, then I'll go to you. Trustee, can you read the invoices into the record?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Invoice number 33340 for February, $10,762.50. Invoice 33341 for representation on the electoral board is $10,133.75. Invoice 33631 for March service is $19,418.75. Invoice 33632 for electoral board services, $9,231.25. Invoice 33857, $9,361.55. Invoice 33858, $9,091.66.
That's a lot. So why did you say one of them was 19,000?
Yes, Mayor.
That's a lot. Do you know that's for? Why was that inflated to $19,000?
That was for the 4 lawsuits that were prepared for actions that the board feel are illegally done by the administration.
So you sent that to your attorney and not corporate counsel. Okay, prime example of what I mean by money grab, of you guys using outside counsel. We have counsel that you voted for. Once again, I keep trying to explain to the residents that you have legal representation here on this board. You did not have to hire a outside firm to put in a lawsuit that you saw fit. But go ahead, Trustee Steve, you have the floor.
Question, Mayor Henyard. When you were Trustee Henyard, did you vote for corporate counsel as a trustee?
Here we go.
Yes, you were. So let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
When you was a trustee, you had corporate counsel. This is not new. You're trying to spin the residents as if we're doing something so new. We had our own corporate counsel because there's ordinances that this administration that is not following, and Delgado Group is not saying nothing about. 2, we have an ordinance that she voted on. $1,500 is the max if you spend it without board approval. She blasts us out the water. She spends so much money she's spending right now without board approval. That's an ordinance that Delgado does not enforce. Every hire and fire has to run through the board. Is that being enforced by the Delgado Group? No. So we don't trust the Delgado Group because they're going to side towards the mayor. That's the reality. It's not like we're trying to spend excess money. We're doing the same thing that Trustee Henyard did. They got corporate counsel as trustees when you don't go with the legislative or the administrative council. We have our own legislative council. That's period, because we need people who's going to fight for us. We talked about Delgado Group. They'll explain it away. They won't answer the questions. And that's the reality. We're not up here just spending taxpayers' money frivolously. That's what this administration is doing, and they're not sending it to us. At Trustee House, when's the last time we got a corporate or credit card bills? $25,000 a month credit card bills that we're not getting. This is the reality of this spending. So she wants to spend it like we have to get our own attorney to actually do things to stop this administration from bankrupting the town. That's the reality where we at. That's all I got to say.
I'm gonna say this and we're gonna move on because we'll be up here all night going back and forth. What you're stating up here is untrue, is false. For the record, Janique, when was the last time you just sent them the credit card bills that they're claiming they never got? And this is our finance director, because all the lies y'all tell up here is ridiculous. You get everything you ask for. You have access to Viewpoint. You can see every bill that's getting paid. Once it's getting approved, you got everything. So stop.
They just read the electronic warrant that details the credit card payment.
Can you speak into the mic so they can hear you in the back?
Yeah, the electronic warrant details the credit card payment, all the transactions. They review that every month. And one trustee just requested credit card bills Wednesday and Thursday.
We do not have.
Okay.
We don't have mayor trustee houses. Do we have all the credit card bills?
Trustee.
We don't.
We don't have to lie about it. I don't want to go back and forth. I want her to go on record because we gave you everything you asked for. All that back and forth.
For the
up
record,
here,
it's not. She's not telling you 100% truth.
she have no reason to lie. But we're gonna end this. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna
Her job
end
is
this,
at stake.
and we're gonna move on. So you guys
Well,
took out.
actually,
Hold on,
Mayor, I like
trustee.
to be recognized when you
We're gonna
finish.
move on.
Prior to moving on,
We're not gonna move
We're
on.
not.
What
We're
you
not.
guys
We're
want?
still discussing this.
We're still discussing.
There's nothing else to discuss.
Yes, it
You
is.
guys pull. Neither one of y'all had a floor. Thank you.
We're waiting.
Thank you. We're gonna move on because you guys stated what you wanted to take out. We're gonna take out whatever you said you want to take out. You added your attorney information in and vote. Now move on.
We're still in
All
discussion.
the back
We're still in
and forth for
discussion.
what? Discussion about what?
All the trustees in that spoke.
I haven't.
We're moving on. Can you
Okay,
please call?
no, Mayor,
can you
may I be
please call the roll?
recognized prior to moving
No,
on?
no, you cannot.
Okay, well,
we're gonna
here.
move
You
on.
can't,
Trustee.
she can't be recognized.
Trustee,
We're
we're
not
gonna
moving
move
on.
on.
We're
We
not.
are.
We're
We
not.
are going to move on. We're not gonna go back and forth. We just said what we needed to say. We're gonna move on. Clerk, can you please call the
I
roll?
make a motion to suspend the
Can you
rules.
please call the roll?
Second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
I just made a motion in second.
Your motion is not granted. Can you please call the roll?
Can we get an attorney up here? Because, excuse me, let's
Because
stop
y'all make this into a whole show. We're not here for that. We're here to take care of the
can't
business.
just
We're not here to go
talk.
back and forth. It's no respect up here. It's no honor to Robert Rules of Order. Y'all know how Robert Rules of Order go. When I tell y'all something, y'all don't want to do it. You want to go
You're not
back
the
and
boss
forth
of
with me.
us.
And I'm not the boss of anybody, but I am the leader of this town. And I run the meetings, period.
It's a meeting.
So if I'm telling you guys we're gonna move on, we're gonna move on.
We're not.
Every other meeting
not
that I
moving
go to
on.
do not work like this. Only here we gotta put on a show. We don't. Once everybody learn how to just conduct business and move on. When somebody tell you we moving on, we move on. We don't have to argue. We don't have to debate. We're done with it. Call the roll, clerk.
We got a motion in second.
It's a motion and a second on the floor, since you know Robert Rules of Order.
Okay,
If I may, Madam
go ahead,
Mayor,
attorney.
if I may, there's currently pending a motion and a second to approve the corporate bills as amended by Trustee House. There has been discussion. Discussion can be ended at the call of the chair, which is the president's. And then the only next step is to move to a roll call with respect to that pending motion.
Thank you.
Okay. Now what about the motion to suspend the rules?
It's out of order at this time.
Thank you.
And y'all wonder why we have our own legal
It's out of
counsel.
order because there's a pending motion on the floor.
Wait,
Is that true, attorney? Is that true?
can we ask our
Is that
attorney?
true?
Okay, so we're not gonna go back and forth with attorneys. If the attorney just gave an order,
Supersedes.
so if we're gonna go back and forth, we can deal with that later. Can you call the roll so we can move forward with the corporate
Our
business?
motion supersedes of what's going on.
Oh
Our
my
motion supersedes
God.
that.
Can we move forward? Can you call the roll, clerk?
Our motion supersedes.
The attorney just told you the answer. Please call the roll.
Okay, are we clear? Because we have another
We
attorney.
are,
No, it's
the
not.
attorney
We're
does
not
not
my
run
attorney.
the day-to-day operation, does not run the
Absolutely.
meetings. He does. He just gave you your answer. Can you please call the roll?
So you're not gonna let us hear from our attorney, Mayor? Is that what you're stating?
Clerk Key, can you please call the
You
roll?
gonna let trustees speak?
I
You
would
gonna let the other
prefer you
trustees
guys-
speak?
Clerk Key, can you please call the roll? The attorney just gave you the answer.
Her way to highway, man.
And you have another attorney.
That's not our attorney. This
That's
is
the
our attorney.
legislative council.
Can you
board.
please call the roll, clerk?
Could our attorney grab a mic or something? You wanna?
Can you please call the roll?
Thank you, because he's getting compensated.
Attorney, you out of order. You out of order.
I don't care if I'm out of
You
order.
out of order, attorney.
It doesn't matter.
You out of
if I'm
attorney.
order.
It doesn't matter who wants to hear anything. This is our attorney.
That's how she
You
feel
are
about
our
citizens.
attorney.
You see how she feel about the citizens.
It ain't
something
about the
else.
citizens. The citizens do not speak at this moment. Chief, can you please keep order? I appreciate it. Because I see that everybody wants this to be a show. Sir, you are out of order. This is our, hold on. This is our corporate attorney.
Okay.
You out of order. Okay, so you done. You said what you need to say. Thank
There
you.
needs to be a vote on.
You are out of order,
Yeah,
attorney.
there need to be a vote.
You are out of order, attorney.
Actually, attorneys can't be out of order.
You are out of order, attorney. I didn't give you the floor. Did I give you the floor? So you're not gonna follow Robert rules of order neither, huh?
We gave it to him.
You out of order.
What's your turn? What's your
You out of
turn?
order. So can we move forward, guys? Can we call the roll? I would appreciate it, Clerk Key. You call the roll.
I would appreciate it if you guys would get this in order so that we know what is correct and what
You
isn't
want to listen
correct.
to this attorney and not
I'm
this
listening to
attorney.
both attorneys.
He don't run the meetings. He doesn't. He
But
does.
This is the board's attorney.
He runs the meeting. So if both of them going back and forth, when do we move forward? When do we get there? If everybody got their opinion of how it works.
No, there was.
Yes,
The
y'all do.
trustees have a few words, more last words. The other
Trustee,
trustees that want to talk.
trustee,
That's it.
trustee. We gonna move forward. Do y'all not want to pay the corporate bills?
We want
Y'all not want to pay the bills?
to have a voice.
You already
We
had
don't
your
wanna-
voice. You spoke. So I'm
Trustee,
saying we're
the other
done.
trustees don't
We
wanna
had
speak.
discussion. Trustee, we had discussion and we moving forward. The 2022-2023 annual appropriation ordinance budget. Okay, I put this on here because we've been waiting for a approved budget. We still to this day do not have an approved budget from the board of trustees, from the board of trustees, and I'm asking the board of trustees to approve the budget that they had for over 30 days. So is there a motion to approve the budget?
Mayor, if I can be recognized.
Yes.
The previous board meeting, we mentioned that we wanted to have a finance committee meeting. That meeting was called, but due to schedule conflicts from administrative staff, we were not able to successfully go through it. We rescheduled, and during that meeting, we spoke with village administrator as well, saying, let's make sure that in order to try to alleviate some of the back and forth, let's just not put this on the agenda for June until the board has the time. I believed that was an agreement, but at this point it's on the agenda, so I'm not certain why, but we do have a finance committee meeting rescheduled for this Wednesday to discuss it for the residents as well as for the board to go through it, so we can explain the spending of $26 million to the community. My motion at this time is that we table items 11A, B, and C. So I'll make a formal motion for the record.
Second.
Okay, y'all, motion to table. Y'all want to talk about nothing today, huh? Wow. Okay. Before I honor your motion, you guys had a finance meeting last week and wasted the department head's time. They showed up to the meeting for an hour and a half, and basically you guys did nothing but go back and forth. You guys stated that you will go over the budget line by line, and I don't appreciate you guys wasting their time because they do have families. And when they got off at 5 o'clock, they came to this meeting to talk about the budget, to talk about trees and things for public works, talk about housing, talk about code enforcement. You guys should stop playing politics and actually do your job as trustees and legislate and actually go over the budget that you had for over 30 days. When I put it on the agenda originally, you guys always said, I just got this. We didn't have time to look at it. Now you guys have ample time to look at it, and still to this day, no budget. So I just want to point out to the residents that you guys keep procrastinating on taking care of the business at hand while all of the bickering back and forth and talking about Mayor Henyard instead of talking about the real things, the real issues that residents care about, which is their property values here in Dalton. So my issue today, because all it is a grandstand and to deadlock Mayor Henyard, is to get these items that's on the agenda. It was only 3 items. We could have discussed it, talked about it, and moved forward. Us constantly pushing stuff in committee when people don't even have committee meetings, nor do they respect the department's time to make sure they talk about the agenda items that y'all have when y'all have a committee meeting. I will hope moving forward that you guys will find it in your hearts to not waste their time and actually create a budget so we can operate within the new budget, because there are things that need to get done in Dalton right now today. That ends my
Rant.
I got to say
that ends
something.
my discussion as relates
I
to that.
got to say something about all that.
Of
you just
course you
said.
do. Of course you do. That's the problem. Wait a minute.
Just-
Hold on.
you
I let
put
you
a lot of
talk. Hold on.
misinformation out
Hold
there.
on. And that's the issue. When I say something, you all don't have to say something back when I speak. I wanted to say my point for the record because you guys tape me, so obviously y'all ain't got nothing to say. But when I make my statements, everybody got something to say. But if y'all had something truly to say and to discuss, you guys would never table this. We will be discussing each line item. So to go back and forth with me about my statement is irrelevant because if you want to talk about it, leave it on the floor and let's talk about it.
Yo, you are not our mother. After you talk, we can talk.
This ain't nothing about me.
I'm saying, how's that?
You can throw jabs.
I'm just saying, how crazy is that? After I speak, I don't have to say nothing. Hold on.
Trustee, because what I'm saying is that's how it becomes. Wait a minute. That's how it becomes a back and forth. My statement was for me to tell the residents what's going on.
But if
you guys, wait a minute. You guys table this. So that means you don't want to discuss it. You don't want to talk about it. So now, because I can't say what I want to say about these items, I'm going to give an overall review of what it is I was trying to accomplish that you guys are tabling for another 2 weeks. Every meeting we come to, you tabling. You don't want to discuss it. Y'all don't want to talk about it. Every single meeting. We're not taking care of the business. That's the issue I have. Nothing's getting done. Then y'all get upset when I say, okay, well, I'm going to figure a way out to make things happen. Because the people still need what they need. But yet we're dragging our feet because the board don't want to work with their mayor to get things done in the community. That is the issue that we have right now.
It's amazing that you can just. We had a finance committee meeting. Tanganyika was there. The village administrator got there half hour late, and then they said they can't stay the whole time. They only gave us an hour. They all told us an hour to talk of $26 million being spent of taxpayers' money, or we only get an hour to talk to y'all. So we rescheduled another one that they agreed to. Obviously, they didn't communicate with you. You put it back on the agenda. I'm just saying we just want to talk about the $26 million being spent, and it takes more than an hour. But we only got an hour from your department heads. Only an hour. That's unacceptable. So moving forward, we have one coming up this week to discuss the taxpayers' money. And so that's it. So when you say we wasted their time, one got there late, the other one had to leave early. So hopefully this Wednesday they give us more than an hour to talk about the money.
Trustee, that all sounds good, but it's all false. Because at the same time, hold on, every single time they come to a meeting to discuss anything that they want to discuss, you guys don't discuss it. Because you guys go back and forth over nothing. All I ask is you to talk about the agenda when they get there. They're not here to play politics. They're here to take care of their department, to talk about whatever they're over. You guys did not do that. You guys sat here and went over communications. That got nothing to do with none of their departments. Their departments is housing, code enforcement, public works, finance, police, and fire down there. You guys did not discuss none of that. And that's the issue I have.
Are you watching?
Matter of fact, hold on. Village administrator, Keith. What did you guys discuss at the finance meeting that you guys went to? Did you guys discuss anything as relates to a line item, or did you guys just come here and go back and forth?
I'm glad you asked, Mayor. For the record, yes, I was late to the meeting, but also for the record, not one question regarding one line item has been sent to me. Not one question about one line item, not one change in 30 days. For the draft, for the budget, for the appropriation, not one time, not from one trustee has any piece of document been sent to me and or the finance director to make any adjustments to the budget. For the record. Also, for the record, we stayed an extra half an hour late because I was late. So, in my estimation, dealing with a budget, we come prepared to discuss the budget. We come prepared to make adjustments to the budget. We don't come to discuss whether or not you guys have challenges with regards to communication, and you guys don't communicate with us. We reached out, you had the budget. If you had sent us one email that said, hey, listen, change this line item, we don't like this pay, we don't like that pay, that would have been great. We didn't get that. What we discussed is timetables, timeframes, and the way that you guys want to be communicated, which I have no problem with that. But please do not stand up here and act as if we had a conversation about the budget. We discussed communications. We did not discuss the budget. For the record.
For the record, it's on camera, so it's on our YouTube page.
I appreciate it. And for the record, if you find on camera that we discussed one line item, Trustee Steave, I'll take you out to dinner. But you're not going to find that. What you wanted to talk about was being communication. That's what you want to talk about, communication, right?
Because you wasn't sending us the bills. You weren't sending us the amount of money you're spending. That was the communication
Trustee
breakdown
Steave.
between. That's the
Trustee Steave,
reality.
I think
I wasn't talking about stars. This time about the money that you spend that you don't send us.
With all due respect, you get a warrant list every month. With all due respect, you have access to my viewpoint just like we do. With all due respect, guess what? You can go and you can make changes to the budget and you can make recommendations. You have the previous salaries from last year. Guess what? We put out so for the record, so everyone in here understands, every year to the public, we send out to the comptroller's office a treasurer's report with everyone's salary. Every year we put out a tax levy with all of the information. Every year we put out an appropriation, every single year. So that means you have access to previous year's information every single year. The trustees have it, the mayor has it, we have it, and you guys have it. So now, if you want to request a copy, that's fine. But don't sit up here and act like we didn't give you information or you don't have access to information. That's not fair. We work very, very hard. Again, I'm going to say this again. We work very, very hard. It's not fair to the finance director, and it's not fair to me, period. Now, if you want to talk politics up there, that's great. We will stand here and we will stare at the audience, but don't drag us into your fight. We did our job. You do yours.
All right, next we have general announcements. Do anyone have any announcements?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to read my statement into record. Fellow residents, it has been a long journey despite many calls for help regarding the behavior of this administration. The lies, the complete utter disrespect of myself and the fellow trustees have uttered, the court battles, the public fights, and more. On Friday, the appellate court spoke, ruling in favor of Mayor Henyard. Since the decision, I, along with other trustees, have received overwhelming amount of calls of support, received a lot of calls from disappointed residents, and due to the political machine, their votes, they said they felt their votes didn't matter. Let me say for the record, and their vote mattered. I want to acknowledge the 2,000 some residents who voted to recall this mayor. It took courage, and I'm proud of everyone who stand up. You sent a strong message. When the time comes, I encourage you to continue with this exact message next election. I respect the court decisions. Make no mistake, I disagree with it, but I respect it. The fact that those 3 judges do not know Dalton, they don't understand our pain. They don't understand why we are fighting for the community that we know and love. In a court battle, along with in a court battle, as long the challenges has been, I commend the mayor on our fight. I congratulate her on her outcome, and I only pray that this experience serves as a lesson that this seat that she holds or we hold is not ours. It belongs to the residents. I look forward to a brighter Dalton tomorrow, and I'm committed to continue the fight for our residents, and I'm committed to serving the community that I know and I love and I raise in my family, young family in. Thank you.
All right. Next, any more announcements? Any more announcements? Okay. Well, I got something to say. One thing I want to say is thank you to all the residents of Dalton for standing with your mayor that you elected by 82% of the vote. Thank you. It was an uphill battle, and it's a shame that these trustees will actually spend your taxpaying dollars and waste over $500,000 trying to recall me. They could have did several different things by putting the money back into the community like I've been doing. They could have built things for your youth. They could have did your streets, your alleys, cut down your trees. They could have did several things with the funds that they use to try to recall me. That's what you call wasteful spending. So now one thing that Trustee Steaves did say is keep that same energy. Why? Because his seat is up come February of 2023. So y'all make sure y'all get to the polls and vote, because people need to know what's going on in the village of Dalton.
These local government meetings, they're supposed to be about, transparency, accountability,
Right.
the nuts and bolts of running a town.
Yeah, serving the people.
Exactly. But in this case, in Dalton, it seems like those principles got tossed out the window.
Tossed out the window, then run over a few times by a bulldozer, maybe?
Maybe even lit on fire afterward, just to be sure.
Yeah, so in this corner, we have Dalton's mayor, Tiffany Henyard, a woman who seems to think she's running a one-woman show. And in the other corner, you got the board of trustees who have been dubbed the Fantastic Five.
Love that.
Right. Now, the Fantastic Five, they're trying to do their jobs, which is to, oversee the town's finances, provide checks and balances to the mayor's power, that sort of thing.
Standard stuff, making sure the taxpayers' money is being spent responsibly.
Right. But Mayor Henyard, she doesn't seem like anyone questioning her authority or her spending habits.
That much is clear.
Oh, yeah. So strap in, because this meeting starts off pretty tame, but it quickly spirals into a whirlwind of accusations, finger-pointing, and, well, let's just say some truly bizarre moments.
Sounds juicy.
Oh, it is. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any more general announcements?
Mayor, if I could recognize.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, wanted to kind of piggyback Trustee Steaves' sentiments on Tea with the Trustees. Well attended, so we appreciate all who come. I hope they come and get more than just the food. We provide a lot of good information, so thank the residents. We'll look forward to continuing to see you there. In addition to that, on November 1st, we will have a finance committee meeting at 4 p.m. here at Village Hall. That was confirmed with our administrator. So for the last few months, I've talked about some concerns, or some growing concerns that I have about the status of our financials. At the last month, we reported a deficit of $1.5 million for the fiscal year to date. Additionally, we identified that there has been funds transferred out of one of our TIF accounts. A TIF account is a restricted funds account that should not have any transfers come out of it. A transfer approaching $700,000 that was, the request was made on 2 occasions, Friday and Monday, to see what the purpose of that. I'm still awaiting a response on that, so I would ask if a response can be generated that is of high importance, that could reflect $700,000 additional dollars that the village has to repay to the TIF if there's not a justifiable cause. So again, we will be discussing some status of the financials and great concern, and I think we want to make sure that everybody is abreast in the community is aware of it. Thank you.
You can practically feel the tension brewing beneath the surface.
Yeah.
And then, boom, Trustee Jason House steps up to the microphone and drops a bombshell.
Hit us with it.
He announces that Dalton is facing a budget deficit. A pretty hefty one, too.
Hefty, how we talking?
We're talking $1.5 million.
Oof, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not pocket change.
No, not at all.
And he doesn't stop there. He goes on to raise concerns about some suspicious activity he's noticed in one of the town's TIF accounts.
TIF. Now, this is where it gets a little technical for folks at home, so break it down for us.
So TIF stands for tax increment financing.
Right.
And it's basically a way for cities to fund development projects in blighted areas. The idea is you take a certain area that needs revitalization and you freeze the property tax revenue from that area at its current level.
Okay.
Then as the area improves because of the development, the property values go up and so do the property taxes.
Right.
But instead of that extra tax money going into the general fund, it goes into the special TIF fund, which is then used to pay for more improvements in that specific area.
So the idea is that it's supposed to be a self-contained system where the increased tax revenue generated by the development is used to pay for the development itself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The money is supposed to be very tightly controlled and used only for very specific projects as outlined in the TIF agreement. So when Trustee House brings up suspicious activity in a TIF account, that's a big red flag.
Huge red flag, especially when you've already got a $1.5 million deficit looming.
Exactly.
Any more general announcements?
Yes, I do, to kind of go off what Trustee House was saying, there was a TIF transfer of $700,000. Any explanation to why they transferred $682,000 out of the TIF without board approval? Who authorized it? What was it spent for? Where's the money coming from? Where's the gap? Is there any explanation for $682,000 being transferred out the TIF without board approval?
Any more questions?
No explanation?
Any more questions?
That's my last question.
All right, so
Yes, ma'am.
once I get to my mayor's report, I will answer a bunch of questions and rumors that's floating around that is really false, and it's said that this board only come to board meetings to fight, argue, and bicker. No one ever comes to a board meeting to take care of the business at hand or take care of the issues that the people really truly have. It's said that the 5 trustees spend your money without your consent. It's said that the 5 trustees don't do their job as relates to legislation. It's said that every single board meeting, nothing's getting done but their agenda as relates to what they want, such as a recall, resolutions to remove powers, things of that nature. But ask the Fantastic Five, what has they accomplished over 2 years of being on this board? Forget the noise, ignore the noise, ignore the chaos, the mess, the back and forth, the bickering, and truly ask, what have y'all done as it relates to your job duties as trustees to govern this community besides fight with your mayor? That's it. Nothing has been accomplished. No ordinance, no laws, no nothing for 2 years. But I can give you a whole book of items that I have accomplished while fighting with them. I have been doing my job as mayor and then some. I do all 5 of their jobs and mine as relates to governing the community. And I always have shown you that, and I always will say this, my work speaks for itself. And I will continue to do my job despite the hatred, the deception up here that comes with this board. And it's said because the Bible speaks of hardened hearts. And that's exactly what my board of trustees have currently right now. They have hardened their hearts. Because one thing they're not telling you is, I won the recall. I won, the judge threw it out. You guys cannot recall or remove me from office. But they haven't told you that they're trying to pay their attorney $500,000. They haven't told y'all that they have tried to basically put the recall back up in the courts right now and spend another $100,000. These are things they're not telling you, right? But they want to grandstand and put all this little misleading information out here to the public, which is not fair to you guys. As it relates to money that they're speaking about, I will address that, and I will let my team address that, because it's unfair to the CPA, conspiracy group that we have, the finance director we have, and my village administrator that we have that does a damn good job of keeping our finances in order. Because if they wasn't fighting, they would know what's going on. Then they get up here and act like they don't. They got access to the bank accounts. They know what's going in and out of the bank accounts. They know that we transfer money left or right out of our bank accounts. We've been doing that for over a decade. So how dare they try to spin it to the public like we're doing something wrong. So I don't appreciate that, and I know that conspiracy is not going to put that CPA license on the line for some little ducats. They are millionaires. So I'm just telling you that I hate they put things like that to you guys residents. It's unfair to you, and it's unfair that you have to come to board meetings and watch this show as relates to nothing getting done from them. Because I'm doing my job. They have stopped projects. They have stopped things as relates to moving down forward, such as the ice rink. They have stopped your roof and window program. They have stopped a lot of things that you don't know what's going on because they're trying to cloud your judgment and cloud the actual things that's happening in the community from what they don't do. So I will address that in more detail as we move forward. But right now I'm going to go to old business. So are you telling me today that the people are not going to continue to get their roofs and windows done before the weather break, trustee?
She's been butting heads with the board of trustees pretty much since day one.
What else is new?
Right. And a lot of it comes down to, shall we say, her creative approach to managing the village's finances.
Creative.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I've heard some other words for it.
And this particular meeting is all centered around this roof and window replacement program.
Sounds pretty boring.
Right. You'd think so.
Yeah.
It's actually super popular, especially with seniors and veterans in the village.
Okay, I get it.
Who, need these repairs.
Right.
But the trustees are like, hold up a second.
Yeah.
We're running a massive deficit here. And something about how this program's being run just doesn't smell right.
Ooh, that's never good.
So things really kick off when Mayor Henyard like full on confronts Trustee Jason House during the meeting.
Confront?
Yeah. She basically says, are you not going to allow the seniors and veterans that's on hold right now to get their windows and roofs completed before the weather breaks?
Wow. Using the seniors and veterans as a shield.
Right. It's like classic political maneuvering.
Guilt trip 101.
Try to make anyone who questions her look heartless.
Yeah, like who wants to be against helping seniors and veterans?
Okay.
Especially when winter's coming.
Well, my motion stands, so if the board would like to make amendments, they are
No,
free to
I'm
do
asking
so.
you. I'm asking you. Are you not going to allow the seniors and veterans that's on hold right now to get their windows and roof completed before the weather breaks, trustee? Because these vendors pay for shingles, pay for tarps, pay for windows, already ordered because they knew they was getting paid. So are you telling me you're not gonna put that or amend that back into this?
Mayor, the motion stands.
Y'all remember that.
May I be
So
recognized?
Jason House don't care. Hold on, trustee. Do not care that you guys are completed, that you guys get what's owed to you because we already started the process. And residents, please stand up. Please say something. Please get to that podium and you let them know how you feel. Because you tell me all the time, but now y'all tell them. Because I've asked, I plead, and nothing's happened. Nothing's happened.
May I be recognized?
No comment, trustee.
May I be
You
recognized?
just not gonna pay for nobody's stuff. His
Mayor,
time coming. His time coming.
There are 5 other trustees. They are free to vote how they feel.
I understand it's 5 other trustees, but I'm asking you. By you being a senior trustee, I'm asking you. And I think you should do what's right. You was on my ticket. We ran for this dream team. We ran on the vision of helping the people. And I need you to step up right now and help these people, Jason.
I understand the desires to continue a back and forth. I'm just not going to entertain it.
This
Thank
isn't
you.
about back and forth. This is about helping the people. Put their items back in the motion. Amend the motion and pay for their items so we can continue with their roof and their windows and the rink over here, the ice rink that we're building now. Put that back in there. And any other trustee can amend that as well that's sitting up here. So y'all let me know if anybody gonna amend it because we're gonna be right here until we fix this. Go ahead, trustee.
May I be thank you.
Go ahead.
My mic on? There's a level of transparency that has to happen. When she was trustee, she used to say, can we get an RFP? Can we get some clarity on the vendors you're using? None of these vendors have come before the board. No RFP, nothing. $2.8 million in deficit right now. That's already here. And what we're doing is asking questions. If we spend money like this, it's reckless. Reckless. Let me, since she said we want to pay our friends, let me tell you what the judge said. Again, I point out there is no evidence at this point that the board is engaged in any usurping of veto power. They rushed to write checks without giving the mayor the opportunity during this period of time. So they're saying there's no evidence of trying to pay our friends or doing anything illegal. That's what the judge said. If the mayor can pay and spend what she wants, why are we up here then? There's no transparency. Then we get it on the warrant list. As far as the DJ Greg, we paid him. That was our DJ. There was people out of my MS walk that still haven't got paid to this day. That's the reality. She won't pay it. And because she feels it's against her, whatever it was for us, we're not paying no friends. We don't have the power to pay no friends. We're just paying their attorneys for the services that's rendered. She paid her attorney. She paid Fear Ready to Casper. These people who did stuff for her, our attorneys entitled to get paid for doing work, period. So there's no, but on the other hand, there's a whole lot of allegations of the mayor, wrongful expenditures, issuing checks by the mayor without board approval. You have a board to approve bills. The mayor is not supposed to pay anything that the board hasn't approved. That's why we're up here. And if we're already $2.8 million in a deficit and we're only 4 or 5 trustee house 4 or 5 months in, 5 months in, we're $2.8 million. At this time of the month in politics or in government, you get lean in these time of the months because property taxes are slow to come in. You don't get your big bulk of your property taxes till January, February. These are things that we got to be prepared for. But this mayor is spending without no board approval. What's the expenditures of an ice skating rink? What's going to cost to maintain it? We know none of that. None of that. And then we get up here and just ask questions. We're berated like we don't want to help the people. You voted for us to watch the taxpayers' money. And we're telling you, we're not making it up. We had the finance committee meeting. The department heads didn't even come to answer the question. We think it could have been answered at the finance committee meeting. That's why you have finance committee meetings. You have department heads come, you ask questions. Before, department heads were always mandatory to attend the trustees committee meetings. They don't come to our committee meetings at all. We can always grandstand, and none of us want to go back and forth. But if we sit here and be quiet when we see the taxpayers' money being ran through like a kid in a candy shop, we have to say something. We're neglecting ourselves and your taxpayers' money if we don't say something. So I know we're gonna say, well, we want to help the people. Don't you want to help them? But you never ask the grant money. We don't even what grant money we got in, what donations we got in. We said we got donations for the basketball court. We don't get that was all on one list for us to pay for the taxpayers' money. I'm not making this stuff up. So moving forward, we have to be responsible for the money because Trustee House said already $2.8 million in a deficit. Already only 4 or 5 months in, and we're going into the winter months with water main breaks and reckless spending. We can't maintain at this level right now. That's where it's at. And I'm not here. It's not me grandstanding. This is just the reality. And when you hear from the other side about we trying to do this, we trying to do that, and you say that's all sound good, but it's not based on 100% truth. It's not. Thank you.
Okay, let's clear a couple things up that you just lied to the people as always about. One, Casper, which is one of my attorneys, have never been paid. And y'all can foil anything I'm saying. Delgado, my attorney right here, haven't been paid since February? About February. But he still comes to the meetings. He still be our attorney for the village and protects the village, take on the lawsuits and take care of the business. My staff is not here for the infighting, the drama, the political retaliation, none of that. So when y'all invite them to a meeting, y'all make sure they equipped with what they need when it comes to a meeting. They're not coming there to get bamboozled and say, got you. What about this? What about that? Make sure they're prepared. So when you ask your question, they have the answer. But you guys do it for a show. They have families. So they are not, how can I say this? I don't make them come to your meetings until you give them what you need. You give them what they need, then they can come to your meetings. We have no issues with that. But if y'all have questions, y'all can call them prior to, and they will get answered. Half of them answer every single question that you guys ask of them.
So Steave just keeps going.
He's on a roll.
He's like straight up accusing Henyard of wrongful spending.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And writing checks without board approval.
That's illegal. Right?
For sure, yeah.
So much for those checks and balances.
Right. And as if all that drama wasn't enough.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah. Then they get into this whole thing about department heads skipping out on trustee committee meetings.
Avoiding scrutiny much.
And Henyard's excuse is that her staff needs protection from bamboozlement.
Bamboozlement?
Yeah, I know, right?
Who is this, the 1800s?
It's like she's trying to make the trustees sound like a bunch of con artists.
Or like they're going to bully her staff or something.
Right. But really, it's just about them trying to do their jobs.
Ask some tough questions.
Get some answers about how things are being run.
Transparency, accountability, you know, the basics.
Exactly. And Henyard just wants to shut it all down.
Control the narrative.
So, yeah, it's a total mess.
It sounds like it.
As relates to the ARPA funds, which is the grant money, I don't know nobody that's going to come and do a complete tear off of a roof for the amount of $5,000 to $6,000. That's why it's so important to have relationships, which I do have. So when that individual said they would do it and several others agreed, and I think at another board meeting, I announced it when Brian was here, we had 11 contractors. We was reaching out. I posted it. Everybody posted it for contractors to come and join this movement. I've been talking about this since I became mayor when I first initiated the roof and window program. And we only was down to three left that actually is doing over 500 people in the village of Dalton. And then it was $2,000 for the windows. So where can you find somebody that's going to accept them price points and do the masses of community? Just somebody that want to see your community grow. So when y'all talking about all this and that, y'all could have mentioned any of this a year ago, 2 years ago, because now it's election time. No one said anything as related to anything that was going on. We was just getting things done, and now today it's a problem. Why is it a problem? Because they don't benefit from it. Matter of fact, Trustee Ed Steaves just asked me to do his roof. So if I'm not including y'all, then it's a whole problem. So I just want y'all to understand that's what it made up. I didn't make that up. I didn't make that up. Trust me, I didn't make that up. So if it's not beneficial to them, then it cannot go for you. So that is my issue when it comes to that. Then ask yourself this. When they talk about control and America do whatever she want and this, that is not true. Anybody that follows budgets and things of that nature, when we approve a budget, guess what? They approve what it is that I can spend as a mayor. It's already accounted for, and basically I just go off the line item and we spend the money that's allocated for us to spend in Dalton. So that's how we've been doing things in Dalton. When it comes to control, you got to understand, I am your mayor. You voted for me by 82%. So that means you entrusted me with the village to do what's right and make sure that I took care of the business. So if they want to control me, then who control the trustees? Because they can go back and forth. So if 5 of them want to control me, then who controls the board members? So you got to understand how the government branch works. So I'm asking once again for this board of trustees to humble themselves, have some love in your heart for these residents, and give them what's owed to them, what's due to them, what they waited for 8 years. And I know for a fact, because I've gotten emails, I've gotten texts and calls as related to, thank you, Mayor, for cutting my tree down. Thank you, Mayor, for filling my hole. Thank you, Mayor, for doing my street. Thank you, Mayor, for doing my alley. Something never been done in history of Dalton. They've all are grateful for what is going on in this movement. I don't understand how you guys, 5 of you, are sitting here trying to stop progress. Right now, Dalton is on the move, but it's on the move with just myself and Trustee Holmes. He's the only trustee that votes and give what the residents need and desire as it relates to making you whole and doing beautification throughout our community. So I'm asking again, because y'all keep talking about, hey, let's work together, let's this, let's that. So let's start today. Let's make the residents whole, and let's amend your emotions and put the roof and window program back in there so we can continue to give them what they need.
May I be recognized, Mayor?
Hold on,
Go ahead, Trustee.
I got to clear something now. I asked for a roof. This is what, we want to talk, we want to communicate. She called me at 10:30 one evening, which was, I appreciate the call. We had a good conversation. I asked her about my alley. Both alleys on 142nd side and 144th side been done. My alley hasn't been done. So I asked her, can I get my alley done? And then I asked for the list of alleys, how you picking the alleys. Remember when she was a trustee, she said, I'm calling myself the tree lady because I want a list of the trees. How you cutting these trees, man? How you cutting these trees? How are you doing these alleys? There's no transparency at all. And so to say I want a roof, come on, that's just crazy. But it's just, I asked for my alley and that's where we're at. But it's not, of course, people are tired of the back and forth argument, but we're asking for the transparency of the taxpayers' money. That's what we elected to do. It's not about control. It's not about the control. If that's the case about the control, the judge wouldn't rule in our favor to keep you off the account. The judge ruled in our favor to keep you off the account and keep Jason House and the clerk on the account because they seen no malfeasance or no wrongful doing on our part. But they chose to keep you off the account because they seen all the wrong spending and I say the crazy uncontrolled spending that you're doing. So they seen that. So the judge ruled in our favor on that. That's it.
All right. Is there anyone else?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say thank you for anybody who supported me over this last election. We fought a hard race. I came up short. You win some, you lose some. It's part of politics and part of being in this political game. We still going to do our tea with the trustees this upcoming Saturday. We're going to be dealing with mental health and Women's Month, honoring some women of the village. And I'm still doing my MS walk May 13th. It's going to be at the Park District. So anybody that has autoimmune diseases or multiple sclerosis, I've met some residents in Dalton, more residents in Dalton with MS, and I'm going to be doing that again, continuing every year, annual MS swap for the South suburbs. So again, I thank y'all for everybody who supported me, and I appreciate. I want to give a congratulations to the trustees that won, according to our numbers. Tammy Brown did win. We will see when the county.
I'm sorry. Would you turn the music off?
Yeah, if you got something playing, you can hold off on any music or any phones or anybody that got anything going on.
No, turn the music off.
So he got it. Okay, go ahead.
They playing so hard to say goodbye. Good Lord. So,
Okay,
Please
audience.
keep it down in the audience. We're not going to have that tonight, please. Thank you.
again, so I congratulate everyone who won. And I'm still live here. I'm still raising my family here. I'm not going nowhere. And I'm going to keep on working hard to improve the community that I bought a home in. And I'm raising 3 children here. Thank you.
All right. Next, we're going to commence our swearing in of our newly elected officials. Trustee Ed Steaves, would you like to say something before you part?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's been a pleasure serving on this board for 4 years. It's been a pleasure serving my fellow colleagues, people up top, the department heads. I am doing my MS walk May 13th. I suffer from multiple sclerosis, and I'm doing a walk for MS in South Suburbs, which is the first one I did last year. So I'm gonna do it again this year, May 13th. My board that served with me, I commend y'all. I hope y'all find a way to work together. Celebrate. I congratulate everyone that won, and especially Brother Stan Brown. Brother Stan Brown, me and him have some intense talks. And even when it's political time and we're out, me and him always find a way to work together, cordial and peaceful. And I'm holding out hope for Brother Stan Brown that he will find a way to mend, to compromise, and be transparent to get people working together. And on that note, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, department heads, the Chief of Police, Public Works, Janice Johnson, everybody who helped me throughout this time. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Trustee, I got your picture for you. I'll bring it down for you, but I'm gonna sing this song for you. It's a farewell. I appreciate you. And anybody can join in that knows this song. It goes like this. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Y'all get up for Trustee Ed Steaves.